Welcome to 10.5, the official podcast of the OPP Association. My name is Scott Mills.
And I'm Emily Brown, and we are the Strategic Communications Coordinators for the OPP Association, and your host for 10.5, the official podcast of the OPP Association. A little bit of background for our new listeners. The OPPA is the sole bargaining agent for the close to 10,000 members of the Ontario Provincial Police in Canada. Our members are our focus and our strength, and we aim to provide important information to our members and the public about matters that affect policing in the province of Ontario.
Thank you, Emily. Today's episode, we will be talking about the Association of Black Law Enforcers 2024 Scholarship and Awards Gala, which is a really big deal. And it's being held Saturday, November 16th, 2024 at Casino Rammer Entertainment Centre in Orillia, Ontario. And our guests for this episode are Chris Bullen. Chris is representing A.B.L.E, which is the Association of Black Law Enforcers, and our own OPPA Director, Lynn Neal, who is representing the OPP Association, who are quite honored to be co-sponsors along with the OPP, not really co-sponsors, co-hosts along with the Ontario Provincial Police and A.B.L.E of the Gala. So welcome to Chris and welcome to Lynn.
Thank you for the invitation, Scott and Emily, and I'm very happy to be here. More importantly, to the people who are listening, I thank the OPP and the OPPA, and also to the good folks up in Orillia. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Scott. Happy to be back on the 10.5 podcast. Really excited to have this conversation today. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be part of this event.
Well, welcome to both of you. So, Chris, we'll start it off with you. For those listening that don't know, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yes, I am Chris Bullen. I retired as a superintendent with York Regional Police, an organization I was very proud to wear that uniform for 33 years. I'm also now the manager for bylaw and regulatory service for the city of Markham, a city that I grew up in and a city that I love very dearly. I also have a very soft spot in my heart for Orillia. I do have a lot of kinfolks up in Orillia, and I really appreciate the time that we go up there with my family and spend some time. So the folks from Orillia, is a big shout out. It's just great to be part of that community also. I'm looking forward to the A.B.L.E Gala that's being hosted in Orillia.
Well, thanks, Chris. Jump right into it. I'm sure there's a few people that are listening here that have never heard of A.B.L.E before. So can you tell us a little bit about what the Association of Black Law Enforcers is and kind of how you got involved and what it's all about?
Well, first of all, I am certainly honored and privileged to be here. I was one of the founding members of A.B.L.E back in 1992. And I also thank the president, the current president, Ms. Jacqueline Edwards, for allowing me this opportunity to be here. A.B.L.E is a nonprofit organization and was founded in 1992, and our vision was very clear. We adopted the vision of respect, courtesy, service, and professionalism as the core values to guide us and our members at work. We were not here to replace any bargaining unit, so let's make that clear right off the top. We were here to build a bridge between the Black community during those times in 1992. We had the Rodney King incident happening in L.A. We had a lot of mistrust from the Black community, and a lot of the Black officers took it upon themselves to say, hey, listen, we can create that bridge where we can certainly help people and help our community and help our policing and criminal justice partners understand some of the hurt and the trauma that was happening within the Black community at that particular time. But more important, we wanted to celebrate our past and deal with the present and prepare for the future. And I'll talk a little bit more as we move forward in terms of what I discovered when we started A.B.L.E. And again, this is something I would love to share to the listeners.
And we'll kick it over to Lynn. So, Lynn, I understand this is the first time that the OPP and the OPPA have partnered with A.B.L.E on the Gala. Can you tell us how that came to be?
You know what? It's truly an honor for the OPP Association to co-host. I'm so excited that we've been provided this opportunity to participate, co-host, and work with our A.B.L.E counterparts. It's an interesting way this came to happen. We were approached by the OPP that this was going to be happening, that they were going to be co-hosting, and would we be interested? And of course, I jumped at the chance. For those who aren't aware, I have the equity and inclusion portfolio with the association, and I just couldn't see a better opportunity to build relationships and, educate ourselves, our members, and everybody on everything that A.B.L.E has to offer. I've always admired the fact they strive to promote equity and inclusion for everyone, regardless of their background or who they are. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this and looking forward to it.
Well, Lynn, I concur with you. I've known about A.B.L.E and known a lot of people involved in it over the years in my career in law enforcement, and just made some really good connections with people doing great work out there. And the fact that this gala is happening and the size of it is really important. And Lynn, I understand that a lot of people are expected at this gala. Saturday, November 16th, like we said, at Casino Rama. What can people expect at the gala?
Well, don't want to give too much away. I am on the planning committee, but we are looking forward to a really great event. We have a great team that is working together, and so many people are jumping in and helping with this, from A.B.L.E, from the OPP side, from our side. I mean, Scott, we've got you involved as well, and it's so excited to highlight the scholarship recipients, the awards that are going to go to people who are nominated, and it's just going to be great. I mean, A.B.L.E has always put on a fantastic gala with anybody they've partnered with, but of course, I might be partial to making sure this is, the cream of the crop for events, but I might be slightly biased in that way. But it's, passion, purpose, and persistence. Celebrating excellence is the theme. And as you've already said a couple of times, but I'm going to make sure people remember, November 16th at the Rama Entertainment Center. And we just want everybody to join the gala celebration and support us as we build this strong relationship between law enforcement agencies, the communities we serve, and that pride, professionalism, and honor that we do it with. Law enforcement doesn't always get the credit for how involved they are in their communities, but I think this is a great way to highlight that, and to, that education bit. We need people to be aware. So they need to go to the A.B.L.E website, get their tickets before they're sold out. Don't want anybody to be disappointed. And yeah, let's make this the best event ever.
Well, and I've been fortunate to sit in on some of this planning, and they're expecting like over 700 people at this. So it's definitely going to be a good event. ABLEorg.ca is the website if you want to go over there and check it out. ABLEorg.ca. All the links are on there for both the scholarship nominations, the award nominations, and to buy our tickets. So with that, Chris, I want to throw this over to you because I want everybody to know what these awards are all about. So I'm going to ask you, if possible, to explain the scholarship awards, and we're going to come back over to Lynn to explain the actual awards.
Great. Thank you very much, Scott. In terms of the Peter Bottler III and Rose Fortune, one of the things I highlighted earlier was that I learned a lot when we started in 1992. For example, I didn't realize that Rose Fortune started her policing career in the 1880s, in the 1800s, out in Nova Scotia. Rose Fortune, again, was first recorded black female out in Nova Scotia, and my apologies, that would be in the 1700s. So that scholarship's named after her, and of course, Peter Bottler III, again, early recorded in the 1800s, and he was from Lucan, which is around Strathroy, just north of London. He was the first OPP officer registered in terms of documentation, the first black officers in all of Canada. So we have Rose Fortune out in Nova Scotia in the 1700s, and we have Peter Bottler III, who was in Ontario around the 1800s. And it's specifically geared to young people, giving the young people an opportunity to not only realize their dreams, and I think Lynn had touched on it earlier, the scholarship is open to every young person, irrespective of religion, race, and that was the biggest thing for us. We wanted to do it. So when people hear the Association of Black Law Enforcers, yes, it was founded by Black members, but it's open to all. Our Canada includes everybody. It's a mosaic of many cultures, many faces, many shades of tone, of pigmentation, but it's open to everyone. And the scholarship deals with law enforcement, police foundation, criminal justice studies, correctional workers, criminology, criminal justice law, or social work. We want to ensure that every facet of the criminal justice system is touched by us. We have given over $500,000 in scholarship dating back from 1992. So I am honored and thankful and grateful that the OPP and the OPPA has partnered in supporting us in realizing this dream. And just so you know, this is the first time we have taken it outside of the Toronto core area, and it's moved up to Aurelia. So I'm looking for a great time on Saturday, November 16th. It's Casino Rama. We have the hotels there also too, and it's something, again, we pay homage to the folks up in Casino Rama. I ask people to stay overnight. Let's go in. Let's have a great time. As Scott has said, we're looking at nearly 700 people. So please get your ticket before it's sold out, and I'll turn it over to Lynn.
Just before we get to Lynn there, this the Peter Butler III and Rose Fortune Scholarship program, you can actually nominate yourself. So if you're a young person out there that's like, hey, you know what? I'm doing some good work. You are very welcome to nominate yourself, nominate somebody else. And the submission deadline for those is Friday, August 9th, 2024. So if you are past the deadline when you're hearing this, let's create some awareness here for next year, because this is an annual gala. And like Chris said, over $500,000 over the years have been given out in scholarships. So this is very worth your while.
Just take us through the A.B.L.E Award nominations, Lynn, and tell us what we need to know.
Happy to. It's so exciting to see so many different opportunities to recognize people doing great work. So as has been mentioned, A.B.L.E is accepting applications. Those applications are due by Friday, August 16th. So if you're listening to this on the date that we've released it, you've got 1 week. Get those applications in. A.B.L.E Awards is a nationwide program that aims at honoring outstanding achievements of members within law enforcement. So that includes the Community Leadership Award, a Teamwork Award, Program Innovation, Leadership and Excellence, Rising Star, a Trailblazer Award, and a Legacy Award. And the awards are posted on the website, so make sure you go to the website, look at the application, and if you know someone who you think is deserving of this, please make sure you forward their information and get that application in before the deadline.
As well, you can nominate yourself. I know it sounds weird sometimes. People, especially people in law enforcement, they don't like to bring recognition upon themselves. But if you're out there doing some good work, why not? This is about bringing awareness to the greater good of law enforcement, and it's such A.B.L.E is such a great organization. So get those applications in there. Again, ABLE.org.ca. That's ABLE org.ca. Everything's on there. And Chris, I was wondering if we could kind of get into some of the benefits of the Association of Black Law Enforcers organization and some of the impact that A.B.L.E has had on you and your career personally.
Well, I can tell you from the onset, in terms of the impact for me and my career, as I said, I retired as a superintendent. So being a member of A.B.L.E certainly helped me, and I'll give you some specific examples in terms of having contacts with other people within other organizations throughout the criminal justice system. I'm not only just in Canada. but also in the UK and in the US also too. And that was very impactful when I was an investigator, having contacts in the OPP, the RCMP, Corrections Canada, Corrections Ontario, even my colleagues in Buffalo when we had some investigations, even in New York. And then that went over all the way to UK in London. So the impact is great. And not only about that, it's about just networking also too. You learn stuff from other organizations and you were able to bring it back to your organization and build on those expertise. So it was beneficial to me in that way. And more importantly, is that camaraderie. You talked about it earlier, Scott, in terms that in law enforcement, we don't like to talk about ourselves. And this is where we encourage people to nominate yourself. Because we do little things, simple as helping with the food bank. You're volunteering as a driver or during any sort of festivities when we do in terms of drinking and driving, and you decide to be a designated driver. All these little things, we don't talk about ourselves, and people don't realize what we do outside of law enforcement or within law enforcement. And we need to talk about ourselves, as we say, big up yourself a little bit and tell us. We would love to hear all the great things that you do. Please nominate yourself again. This is a wonderful opportunity. I'm stressing to people, if you don't sit home, don't say, well, Association of Black Law Enforcers, OPP, OPPA, come out and see it. I tell you, you are going to be wow. And not just police officers or law enforcement officers, we ask the citizens up in Aurelia. If you have a keen interest, come out and see it. You will be wow. And I'm telling you, we've been doing it now for over, 35 years, and we encourage people to come out and support it. You will see the great work that our young people are doing and some of our trailblazers, what they are accomplishing throughout their careers.
Thank you both for being guests today. We very much appreciate it.
You are Scott. Thank you, Emily. My last word would be Lynn. Thank you. Thank you for really taking this on and really supporting us through the OPPA. And to Commissioner Karik and his leadership team up there in the OPP, I commend you. I always do. We were colleagues before and will continue to be friends. And I really appreciate the great work you're doing up in the OPP.
It's fantastic to be a part of this, Chris. I appreciate your kind words. I know Deputy Dart has this as she's on the committee and shows up at every meeting, and her team are doing a great job. And it's just a pleasure and an honor. And, hearing you speak, I love hearing that passion. And that's what I've always found with anybody involved with A.B.L.E, that passion for advocacy and looking after people that's what draws me to this. And I'm so excited for this. Like you said, it's going to be an amazing event, and people don't want to wait to get their tickets because you're going to be disappointed. So thanks very much.
Great. Thank you both. You have been listening to Chris Bullen, representing the Association of Black Law Enforcers, and OPP Association Director Lynn Neal, talking about the November 16th, 2024 A.B.L.E Scholarship and Awards Gala in Aurelia, here on 10.5, the official podcast of the OPP Association. One last reminder to be sure to get your tickets and nominate someone deserving. So as Scott has mentioned a couple of times, all of the info is posted on the A.B.L.E website, which is ableorg.ca. A new episode drops every other Friday on all major podcasting platforms. For Scott Mills and myself, thank you for listening, and until next time, stay safe.